Remote work has become increasingly prevalent in recent years. Now, if you look back at the lockdown, you notice that how we do things changed a whole lot. Digital entrepreneurs like video editors, content creators, graphic designers, and everybody that works online actually focused more online. So, in this video, we are going to be looking at the advantages and disadvantages of remote work and how remote work has actually helped with our productivity, and also look at work life balance of remote work. So let's get right into it. Remote work has gained a lot of attention in recent years. With the rise of technology and changing work balance, remote work has become a popular option for professionals. Now, if you look back at the lockdown, you notice that how we do things all over the world changed. Now, when the government told us to go to our houses and sit down to prevent the spread of coronavirus, yes, we still had to work, right? We still had to work, we still had to put food in our mouth, we still had to fend for our family and also pay our bills, right? Because the bills did not stop coming in due to the fact that we're all seated at home. Yes, we still had to work. So this was like a plus for digital entrepreneurs, right? Those people that had digital skills, you can actually sit down from home and work from home and also make money from home, right? So during the time of the coronavirus, this 2020 period, you notice that a lot of businesses sprang up online, right? So many new businesses were born online. Even me personally, most of what I do today started in 2020. There are a lot of people going online, starting businesses online, starting digital businesses, learning digital skills, and all of that. So many people now began to see the opportunities online. So many people began to see that, wow, so if we can actually work from home, do we really need to go back to the office? Do we really need to go back to our offices and work? Right. So this is how remote work started. Right. This is how remote work started. Right. So people began to see the opportunities of working from home, being productive from home, starting businesses from home, and also making money from home. Now let's look at the trends, challenges, and best practices for thriving in a distributed workforce. Right. So when I say distributed workforce, when you have a group of people working together, right, you have different people working in different locations towards a common goal, right? So give for example, you have a company. What does the company do? Into financial services. Give for example, maybe a fintech app. You have this fintech app and you have its workers working remotely, right? So one person is in Abuja, one person is in Lagos, one person is in Benin, another person is in Delta, right? So you have these different people in different locations working for that fintech company, right? So that is a distributed workforce, right? You have a distributed workforce working towards a particular goal. Now let's look at the challenges, the trends of remote work. Before we dive into details, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to get notified when a new video drops. Now let's get started. The first trend we are seeing in the future of remote work is the rise of remote work itself. With advancement in technology, many companies are embracing remote work as a viable option for their employees. Now you can see that technology is becoming very, very advanced all over the world.
Are you serious?
Especially even in the third world countries and in the first world countries, you can see technology is becoming so much more advanced, right? So we can get things done without going to the offices today, right? So even without going to our offices, we can actually get things done, right? So you can see that with your systems, with your laptops, with even your smartphones, you can get a lot done these days. So you don't need to go to an office, you don't need to go to a particular location before you can actually get productive, right? Even in your bedroom, you can actually get productive these days, right? So remote work is actually rising. So there's an increase in the number of people that are actually working from home these days. All you need to get productive is just your smartphone, your PC, and your internet connection, right? So even if you are put in a village and you have all these tools, you can actually get very, very productive. You can actually make money online from anywhere in the world, right? Even if you were put in the bush, right, you're put in a thick forest and you have access to internet, you have your phone, you have your laptop, yes, and you know how to survive in that forest, yes, you can still get productive, you can still communicate with the world, you can still create content, right? You can still do a whole lot, right? Provided you have all these resources. So remote work is actually on the rise. Remote work is very much trending these days. Remote work has different advantages such as increased flexibility and the potential to tap into different talents from all over the world. It allows employees to work from anywhere in the world, and companies can tap into talents from different geographical locations. So this is a very huge opportunity for companies that are growing, companies that are looking to scale, companies that are looking to achieve a lot, right? So these companies can tap into talents from all over the world, right? So give for example, you have a company in Nigeria, right? So you have that company in Nigeria, and that company is looking to scale its product, scale the sales of its product and services, right? And also wants to reach a wider audience all over the world, wants to reach a global audience. So what does this company do? This company can hire experts from China, can hire experts from Lebanon, can hire experts from India, right? So you bring these different people together, right, in different geographical locations and get them to work for you, right? Get them to work for you in different geographical locations. So let's not go too far. Give for example, me as a digital entrepreneur, right? I want to hire a writer, I want to hire a video editor, I want to hire a graphic designer, right? So I don't need to leave my present location before I can have access to a writer, before I can have access to a graphic designer or a video editor, right? So right from the comfort of my room, pressing my phone, I can always hire a writer on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. I can go to YouTube, and also go to different freelance websites and hire video editors, right? So this is the opportunity of remote work, right? So you can have access to different talents from different geographical locations. There are so many talents out there, right? There are so many talents out there, top-notch people doing great things, geniuses with their work. Your ability to bring these people together is what will favor you, is what will favor your company, right? So there is increased flexibility in remote work. Increased flexibility. You can work anywhere in the world, you can work anytime you like, right? So you don't have to wake up early in the morning and take your shower and say you are going to work, right? So you just wake up, get set for work in your house. So this is the opportunity of remote work. This is the advantage of remote work. There are also disadvantages of remote work that we're also going to be looking at. So stick with me and let's look at those disadvantages of remote work. One of the disadvantages of remote work is communication challenges. So remote work can hinder effective communication, especially when relying on virtual tools. Communication challenges is one of the disadvantages of remote work. It can be difficulties in communicating with each other. There can be misunderstanding, there can be delayed responses, ineffective communication among workers. So give for example, I'm a remote worker, right, working with my colleagues abroad, right? I'm in Nigeria and I have a group of colleagues of mine, say working in England or working in Scotland or Argentina. Let's say all of us are working on a particular project, right? So we are working, give for example, we are working on a site, a website. Let's say all of us are contained in, give for example, a WhatsApp group, right? So there could be delayed responses. So give for example, I text somebody in the WhatsApp group, text him a message, and I need his response as soon as possible, and he doesn't respond to me as soon as possible. So what do? I keep waiting and waiting and waiting for him to respond. So that's one of the challenge of remote work. There could be difficulty in conveying emotions, right, between remote workers or among remote workers. So this can lead to frustration, misunderstanding among remote workers. So let's look at the second disadvantage of remote work. Another disadvantage of working remotely is the fact that there is lack of supervision, right? Lack of supervision. So some employees may struggle with lack of supervision in a remote setting, right? So if you are working remotely, you are not under supervision, you are not being supervised by your boss, your employer, or your manager, right? So this can result to reduced productivity, right? A decline in productivity, decline in accountability between the boss and the employer. That is one of the disadvantages of working remotely. There's lack of supervision, and it may reduce your productivity as an employee. It may reduce productivity of employees. Distractions at home. That is another disadvantage of working remotely. If you work at home, you are bound to face distractions. So you can face distractions maybe from your household chores, you can face distractions from family members, you can face distractions from your pets, right? So it will make it harder for you to focus on work. So that is one of the disadvantage of working remotely as a worker, right? As a digital entrepreneur, right? So you are bound to face distractions. So pets, family members, household chores, and all of that, or whatnot, can hinder you from working smoothly, can hinder you from making progress with your work. So this is one disadvantage of working from home or working remotely. Another disadvantage of working remotely is work life balance issues. Without clear boundaries between work and personal life, remote workers may find it challenging to switch off from work, right? So because you are working from home, you are working remotely, you may not know when to rest, right? You may not know where you need to rest. You may feel that, okay, yes, I'm working from home, then I can work all day, I can work 247, I can work all week round, right? So you may not know how to balance your work and life, right? So that is one of the challenges of working remotely. And when you are consistently working like that, when you are continuously working like that, you tend to burn out, right? You tend to burn out, and it may reduce your productivity as a remote worker, or it may reduce your productivity as a digital entrepreneur. So find a way to balance your work and life when you are working remotely or when you are working from home. Another disadvantage of working remotely is social isolation, right? So remote workers often miss out on social interactions that come with working in a physical office, right? So if you are working with people, if you are working in an office, you tend to interact with them, you tend to vibe with them, you tend to communicate with them, right? You tend to experience humanity, right? You tend to speak with your fellow humans when you are working in an office. But when you are working alone, when you are working remotely, you tend to feel lonely at times. You tend, because you don't have people to talk to, you don't have anyone to talk with, you tend to be isolated. That is one disadvantage of working remotely. So you tend to experience social isolation. So even as a remote worker, even as a digital entrepreneur that works from home, don't just stay at home because you work from home. Try as much as possible to experience social interactions. Try as much as possible to, once in a while, you can go to the office, you can go where people are and have social interactions with them. So this will prevent you from being depressed, from being lonely, and from being, just being all by yourself. So as a digital entrepreneur, try as much as possible to go out. Even if you work from home most of the time, try as much as possible to go out and interact with people. It is very, very important, right? So God did not create us to be working from home, right? God created us to work with human beings, to work and socialize around, to experience social interactions, right? So it is very, very important for your mental health and for your general well-being. Alright guys, so that will be the end of this video. If you got